Benjamin Netanyahu will reportedly meet with Trump in Washington as soon as next week. Former U.S. Ambassador to NATO Kurt Volker joins me now. Mr. Ambassador, is Netanyahu looking for permission to finish the job with Hamas and Hezbollah?
I think he's looking to strategize. I think he knows that in President Trump, he has someone who fundamentally wants to support Israel's security. We are going to have Israel's back going forward in this administration. And he does need to clean Hamas out of the Gaza Strip, but he wants to work together now with the U.S. on how to do that. And I think that's a salutary turn of events compared to where we've been.
Where does the ceasefire stand now that we have 8 hostages killed?
Well, it's not a surprise that the hostages are killed. They were probably killed a long time ago. But what we see is that Hamas is beginning to actually say, okay, we need a ceasefire. We're going to release hostages. They are responding to the fact that Trump is going to be targeting them directly and that Iran is in Trump's sights as well. So they are actually moving forward. There are always hiccups when you try to implement a ceasefire or a hostage deal. But it's clear that Hamas now wants to do this because they know that the penalties will be very high if they don't.
Mr. Ambassador, Trump signed an executive order to create an Iron Dome missile defense shield for the United States. Watch this.
I'll be signing 4 new executive orders. First is that I'm directing our new Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who's what we need, to immediately begin the construction of a state-of-the-art Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will be able to protect Americans. You see that with Israel, where out of 319 rockets, they knocked down just about every one of them. So I think the United States is entitled to that, and everything will be made right here in the USA, 100%.
Mr. Ambassador, this reminds me of Ronald Reagan introducing Star Wars anti-missile technology 40 years ago. He was ridiculed then. I suspect that there will be some ridicule of Mr. Trump for the Iron Dome, but I don't think it's right. Do you think we should get one of these things?
Well, first off, I know what he means. What he's talking about is missile defense protection for the United States. And I think that is exactly right. We see a proliferation of missile defense technology, whether it's Iran, whether it's North Korea. We always have to keep an eye on Russia. So yes, having a good missile defense system is essential. Iron Dome is a particular system. It's short range. We're not going to have artillery fired at the U.S., but longer range missile threats, that is real. And one of the things that's different from Star Wars is that when Ronald Reagan was pursuing this, it was only really focused on the Soviet Union and intercontinental ballistic missiles from Russia, and it was bankrupting the Soviet Union. This time, I think we face many more actors, and the risk of missile attacks on the United States is actually greater than it was in the 1980s, and so it is very much merited to be talking about what we can do for missile defense.
President Trump is flexing his military muscle, his military clout. Do you think our allies like that?
It's interesting. The allies are a little concerned because they don't know what it means. And remember, last week he pointedly did not say that he would rule out using military force to take Greenland, which of course belongs to Denmark, an ally. So they're a little nervous about that. But what I think President Trump is doing is reestablishing deterrence. If you think back over the past few years, our adversaries were not deterred because they felt that the Biden administration did not want to escalate, did not want to confront them. So we saw wars in Europe, wars in the Middle East, threats in Asia. Trump is reestablishing deterrence by focusing on American military capabilities.
Got it. Ambassador Kurt Volker, thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate it always. Come and see us again.